All right, now it should be working now. All right, only 30 minutes late. We made it.
Listen, here's the deal. It's it's never ever perfect.
No. Well, that's why we run these tests.
It's never. Oh, you can. Oh, I can hear you really well.
Want me to turn it down a little bit, or you
No, this is perfect.
feel good
I'm
there?
fine. I'm fine. I'm used to loud noises. And
Nice.
Patrick, Skaggs, Nikki, you guys can hear us, okay? All right, I'm fine.
Cool.
The studio audience,
Yes.
love that.
Yes.
Represent. Also, oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny you say talk about like late or what have you. My friends know that what I'm about to say because they're gonna be annoyed by it. But like, I heard this quote about like, no matter what happens to you next, right? Uh, the next thing that happens to you that's good or bad is the best thing that happened to you in your life.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm kind of
Yeah.
like trying to approach it in the way of like, this is actually how I'm approaching this season, and I know you'll get to it because you're great at this.
Thank you.
I'm approaching this season with like, not to be hokey and cheesy with it, but I'm approaching it with like, you know it's going to be long, you know it's going to be arduous, you know this things are going to happen, so just stay steady.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I like that. And as I was prepping for this podcast last night, and I was telling you guys, and we're kind of flowing into a live start right now,
Yeah.
but we're getting some new equipment, so kind of upgrading from the stuff we had before. So working through the difficulties of that last night, and as I was prepping for this afterward and coming up on the way here, I'm like, I feel like this year is gonna be big. I feel like it's gonna be a big year.
Well, there's and newsflash, I never prep anything, but I will say this: I know this for a fact between you and Chris, and I never talk about it enough that you care.
Yeah.
I've seen live streams and I hope if you get a chance to watch the Invictus Boston Invitational live streams in the past, you guys do a great job. So I wasn't.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the back end, and this stuff will work out the kinks as they go.
Exactly. That's why we run these tests. And not to start on a negative note because I don't want to be negative. But one thing we messaged about recently was about how some of the live stream stuff has been looking, and some of the kinks at CrossFit.com and the regionals and the semis have been looking recently. And there was I gotta mention it. I gotta mention it.
Go ahead, you're good.
The semifinal in the Asia Games, where they had the high rock style set up with the caution tape, and we were meshing a little bit back and forth. We're like, I'm not gonna say too much, but okay. And then quickly I'll look back at kind of the stream we did last year. I'm like, no worries, nothing, no explanation necessary.
Well, I think for me. It's not a negative, positive.
No, yeah.
It's like it's good work,
Yeah.
but it's hard. Like
Totally.
when I watch the live stream back, and usually my I don't think I have told you this via text, and I'll tell the public this. So I never watch the live stream right after the competition. I wait about 4 days, and I get myself about 6 adult sodas, and then I watch it from beginning to end, and I just like kind of like think to myself, oh, that's cool. Oh, okay, that's different. But I will say, and this is a theme. This is a theme I noticed last year, and I'm noticing this year. I'm surprised how much people care. I was actually like almost shocked how much athletes, fans, friends care, and not just about like I get it. People care about me in that way, but like the comp
Sure.
and the growth of the comp and the potential of the comp, people care. It's vested interest, and I love it.
Totally. I like that. And I'm going to get into a piece of that because I
Sure.
think that's important, talking about this comp versus versus in general. That makes this comp unique, that makes this comp special. I'm going to get into a little bit of an intro just for the listeners, but we're doing live in-studio podcast today. First one we did like this was last year before the competition. It was fun. It was a good time. So running it back again gives us a chance to test out the equipment a little bit too, so it's good for us as well. But we got Bern Prince on the podcast, the man, the myth, the legend.
I appreciate it.
Coach over here at Invictus Boston, and a creator and operator and owner of the Invictus Boston Invitational.
Yes.
So a brief, I guess, description of that that I took from you guys from your Instagram was the concept behind the Invictus Boston Invitational, like why it happened, and we talked in previous podcasts a little bit about the origin story and getting down to that. So if you want to learn deep about that, go to the last podcast. We can touch upon it, but
love that.
just a brief kind of summary is the concept to display how fitness can create a community of individuals that all cultures, backgrounds, and ages can gather and celebrate the sport of fitness. Kind of like the tagline, mission, mantra, if you will.
Yes. Yes.
So And one of the posts you made before this podcast, kind of get people excited about it, was in the words of like I talked about Bill Simmons,
Yes.
a good podcast,
Great
is
podcast.
sports and pop culture. So to bring it into sports again, in the words of Anthony Edwards, bring your ass.
Well, bring your ass.
Bring your ass.
Bring your ass to the podcast. Bring your ass to the invitational page. Bring your ass to the competition. Yeah.
I love it. There's a couple quotes that I was going through, things you've said in the past that I'm gonna drop on you and ask for little explanations.
Sure.
So I'll keep you on your toes. So this is season 5.
Yes.
Season 5, year 5 of the competition. I want to start off with anything that you can think of from season 4 that you're really excited to expand on, and anything new for season 5.
Easily, yeah. The expansion this year with Masters and Elite and RX. I think we're seeing it right now currently, even with the semifinals. People are really good at CrossFit to a point, and I'll be a nerd about CrossFit. I was looking at the lineups on the individual division, and it's so stacked. And making the semifinals is almost like making the Super Bowl. And I shied away from having divisions.
Sure.
Because I wanted to make sure that – I always want to make sure everything's tight. So in my mind, if I go whatever you want to call it now, elite, intermediate, scaled, RX, I didn't want to get sloppy. I felt that we scaled to a point where I could add divisions. And honestly, some of the taglines is to make a competition that includes the entire community. If I have a competition that includes the entire community, I can't have just the athletes be the top now 1-2%.
Yeah.
And I needed a place for athletes in that, because RX really is what, quarterfinals athletes.
Sure.
So RX is that division of 90 to 96 percentile.
Sure.
Where did they go when the Open's over?
Right.
So that was the thought process. I experimented selfishly with success and some things to come with that with a Masters division this year. Because selfishly, the people I came up with and people are on my age group, also I was like, where are they going to go? Where are they going to compete? And so that's been, I wouldn't say pleasantly surprised. I knew the turnout we'd get, but I've been very happy with the turnout I've gotten with the new divisions this year.
And Masters is incredibly competitive. Incredibly. Especially every year I feel like it's more and more competitive.
There's a stat line, and don't quote me directly, but I know that in the Open last year, all the divisions stayed stagnant except for the 35 to 54. That was the only.
Interesting.
Yeah, if you look at the numbers, that was the only divisions that increased during the Open.
Like the scores as far or
participation.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if you look at usually it's pretty stagnant, right? You get the same amount of people, But for some reason, 35 to 39, 40, 44, there was an increase in Open participation.
Sure.
The sport has grown, and we're in our 12th year of when your sport grows, your athletes grow in age, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like the thing about I'll use Jay-Z. Like a Jay-Z concert, people are bouncing up and down and being like, it's the Black Album, then I'm back at them. And now, the people at the Jay-Z concert, they need to sit down. They need some breaks.
Yes.
So as your sport ages, your athletes age, and it's interesting to me. So I really wanted to target that audience.
That's cool. I love it. That's a great point. So those are the big progressions from season 4 to season 5. And we call them seasons. So competition 4 was season 4, competition 5 was season 5.
Yeah.
Season 5 and just like season 4, themes. There's themes with each competition.
Of course.
So the theme this year was the book club.
Yeah.
Book club edition. So I've been following around, seeing some of the stuff you've been posting, and each thing is kind of relating back to book club, which is cool. When you first posted your first post about this season 5 is going to be book club, your quote was, Christopher Wallace, I got a story to tell.
Yeah, I wanted to tell. There's twofold behind the book club.
Okay.
This is a story, right? We talked about seasons in the past because I just didn't want to say year 1, year 2, and part of it's for me, from my own humor.
Sure.
I wanted to keep it fresh, so season 5. I called it the book club because I wanted to correlate it into books and reading. A little bit, I kind of wanted to show off the intellectual side of the comp. I talked about this with my family, hip-hop references and shit talking is like the 6th and 7th love language in our family, right? So, when you shoot the jab and you talk like that once in a while, it comes off as like being nonchalant. But I feel like the comp is a little bit more mature, and I feel like the competition is smart. So I called it book club to keep people on their toes.
Totally. I like it. And there'll be some references as we go through some of the workouts. Pretty much everything. Comes back to that.
It comes back around. You think the cool part about the reason I've done the podcast, especially with you and the crew, and I think the reason why people listen to podcasts or come to live streams is because it's supposed to be a free-flowing conversation, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm down to take this wherever you want to take it.
Love it. All right. There was a post that was really, really well written that I want to actually read word for word.
Oh, okay.
It might take me a minute. It was actually, and you gave credit because you didn't write this one.
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know which one you're talking about, but go ahead.
Written by, I'm going to say the Instagram name, Sam Garcia.
Sam Garcia, yeah, she wrote some super dope posts, yes.
So this, I think, we had a brief introduction of what the comp was all about earlier. This is even a little more expanded one, talking more about the book club. So I'm going to read it. I feel like I'm back in school, which, hey, relates. But so the Invictus Boston Invitational is in its 5th season of competition. The Invitational is a competition hosted by Bern K. Prince. K for clean and jerk? No, I put that in. Of Invictus Boston. The concept of the Invitational is to display how fitness can create a community of individuals that all cultures, backgrounds, and ages can gather and celebrate the sport of CrossFit. This year, the Invitational has created a book club. The theme, book club, is intended to allow every competitor to write their own story. Playing off of some classic novels such as To Kill a Mockingbird, The Shining, inspired names for the qualifier workouts, which are as impactful to the mind and body as the novels are. Every competitor's journey brings along a story as to what brought them to the Invitational. While testing who the fittest on the floor is, the intention is that these competitors can read the story to the community. CrossFit has saved many lives. It has created relationships, friendships, and athletes of a unique caliber. While at the Invitational, walk in with the mindset that every athlete, spectator, photographer, all that have gathered together to celebrate the same passion for the sport of CrossFit. Write your own story while uplifting others to write theirs. That was well written. That touched me.
You know why you read that? Shout out to Sam Garcia for writing that. What happens when you first run a competition? Everybody's like, "Yo, I want to help," and I'm like, "Okay." Like, where how do you want to help? Sam Garcia and a couple other people were one of those people that were like, I want to help you, and this is how.
Yeah.
Right? She goes, I want to help you write the story. She heard book club, and she goes, I'm going to write that post. That is definitely if anybody knows me, I definitely didn't write that, right? But it is what's cool to me, and I've found most of everyone here, when I look around, I think, finding Patrick and finding you and finding Nikki and finding Skaggs and finding people that just help out in their ways. The last year has been, instead of like, oh, I want to help you out with this project, people are like, no, I see some of what you're doing. And they're like, also, they're honest enough with me to be like, I also see where you're falling short. And I can help you in that capacity because I'm very careful with the I's and we's, and it's a we. You do it together. And even in my staff meetings, in our staff meetings, I get made fun of because I'm like, when we run the Invictus Boston Invitational, they're like, they say this to me, and my staff, people I work with know. They're like, oh, it's Bern's comp. I'm like, no. We're running the comp. And when I say running the comp, it's no longer like a fly-by-night competition. There's money in it. Right. There's photographers making money. There's media team making money. There's host. Cam Burke. I've never told the story about Cam Burke out loud, and I know I'm not sharing secrets. Cam Burke was the first MC we had. Cam Burke was my coworker, and Cam is one of those people that he's like me. Like, he's passionate, and if you give him the right role, he's all in. I didn't want to make him a judge because that passion and the thing he has that's so good, not to say it was wasted, it wouldn't be good with him just counting reps.
Sure.
I couldn't MC my own competition or the competition that I'm overseeing. So I said, Cam, be the MC. He's one of the biggest MCs in, like, the world, and that's not an exaggeration.
I know.
Most local comps, you see Cam Burke.
Yeah.
It's a long way of saying this is a thing that has to be done by multiple people. So when you read that, and it's funny, like, I was like, I definitely read that. Sam Garcia is one of those people that stepped up and wrote that post, and I'm very thankful to have her help out.
And we'll go deep again just for a second, then we'll get into the workouts a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
We're starting deep. On that post, the picture you had chosen was Derek. I always say his last name.
Yeah, it's all right,
Derek Wang?
Yeah.
Wang? All right.
Shout out, Derek.
Great picture taken by, I think it was either Patrick or Justin, maybe Sarah. I'm not sure. One of those three. And it's him doing a dumbbell snatch, I think.
Yep,
maybe,
dumbbell snatch.
Yeah,
yep, you're right.
and the crowd just going, his crowd just going nuts. And so it was cool just seeing that post paired with that picture. And I think it was actually one of a swipe ones. So the next picture was even, or might have been the next post, but hey, still relates, was I'm gonna forget the name. The Instagram's Boothy Badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boothy. Ayo Boothy. Chris Booth.
Looking at Trey House, and your caption was the first chapter of the novella. So it's cool. It's like it's building anticipation, like building the theme, like the culture. Because I think that's a big part of just why this comp is so special compared to a run-of-the-mill average CrossFit comp is the culture, the community, something unique, something intangible that people want to be a part of.
I want to touch on a couple of things you said, and I'll stay on track.
Yeah.
With Derek, people were amazed how loudly people cheered for Derek. I think that's what the CrossFit crowd should be. Derek is the fittest in Uganda, 3 years in a row now, okay? So people are like, well, why are they so loud for him? Uganda's a country. So it's like Tom Brady, if Tom Brady walked in here, they'd lose their mind.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady won multiple rings. So Derek is Uganda's Tom Brady.
Sure.
So they lost their mind when they saw him. And everybody's in the crowd like, well, I can't believe it's how you're supposed to act.
Yeah. It was fantastic.
This is fantastic. So when I look at that picture, I actually look at that picture like that's how I want the crowd to react.
Yeah.
There's a little bit in CrossFit culture, and I think this is new, of sitting on your hands and waiting for that one big moment and cheering. And in my head, the crowd should be more of a concert-like atmosphere where you're singing along. And in soccer, they chant the whole time.
Yeah.
And there's max 3 goals.
Sure.
So in a sport that you understand the suffering, like we all have done a squat. We've all suffered in the WOD. So you can relate to what that athlete's going through. You should be cheering the whole time. I actually don't know if I answered your question.
No,
that's what I think about when I think about that picture.
That was good. I like it. Yeah, when I was prepping for this podcast, I was listening to the last one we did.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure I talked a little bit about the recap from last year.
Of course.
So using examples like that, because I'm like, the last year was a cool comp. That was fun. It
So
was a lot of fun.
last year was amazing, and I'll be honest, I don't remember 3 hours of it. Because it's funny, I'm seeing Rock now. It took a lot. Recap of the comp. The comp went fantastic. I thought it was the best one comp. I planned on everything. I had backup plans on backup plans on backup plans. And you know what the universe told me? You didn't plan for humidity. It was raining that day, and then it warmed up.
Yeah.
So what happened was a bottleneck of about 500 people in a small space. The floor got wet, and it got slippery, and cleans got dangerous. When they switched it to cleans, I panicked, and I withdrew within myself. And I said, the comp is over. Everything I worked for is over. We had to switch it from cleans to deadlifts. And I was like, this is going to be a disaster because it wasn't my vision. Like, I'm like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. We have to change it mid-WOD. It looks disorganized. And I basically walked into a corner, and I don't remember 3 hours of the comp. And it took Mike Gilbert saying to me, yo, I'm looking around, everybody's having fun, and you look like this is the worst day of your life. And it took my boy Rock going to get food and telling me, like, I know your head hurts. I know you're trying to get through this, but everybody's having a good time. And when I came to, it was the last WOD, and I realized it was going well.
Yeah. I mean, I think I noticed that the floor was wet. I'm like, oh shit, cleans. Like, this is gonna be messy. But it didn't even cross my mind that, like, hey, Bern has the ability to change it for safety. And I was like, oh no, this is gonna be bad. And then when you came out and it's like, hey, because of the humidity, we're changing deadlifts. I'm like, oh, I'm like genius. Like I can't believe like it didn't even cross my mind that that was an option. And the fact that you did it, I'm like, that shows good leadership. That was a good thing on the spot.
I would love to pat myself on the back, but the truth is Wadapalooza. I'm lucky enough where I've been to Wadapalooza multiple times. You know, I was emceed Wadapalooza. They change it on the fly all the time.
Oh, okay.
Because of the weather.
Gotcha.
This is outdoor comp. So you can, if it's safety.
Sure.
You
safety
say
first.
it's not. If you're all wrong, you're all right. It doesn't matter what you do. You got to communicate with the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Luke Mead was the head judge. Sam Horenstein was like, it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple people say it was dangerous, and like I gave him the 3 years. I was like, yeah, whatever, right? And it was the third person that came up to me, and I want to say, I forget who it was, and I'm sorry I'm blanking on the name, but it was like, yo, I don't want to be that person, but I think it's a little dangerous. So the third person told me it was dangerous. I knew I had to clean it because it's a sport.
Yep.
Things are going to happen. People are going to get – this year somebody's getting nicked up. Somebody's going to rip something. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to pull something. I don't want it to happen, but But if I can prevent a catastrophic injury, I got to do that. Because people are trusting me with their program and they're trusting me with their health. They're trusting me with their like fitness careers.
Yeah, true.
So I had to make the change. But if I have to make the change, like you said, the comp went off without a hitch. Nobody complained. It made some like social media is a funny thing because it made for some badass pictures. So
the deadlifts made great pictures.
Great pictures.
They're fantastic.
So the thing about last year is it went so well. You have to fight. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Sure.
I have to fight the temptation to want to make this year better.
Sure.
This year's this year. Last year was last year.
Sure.
So
I like that. Yeah. That's good. Before we get into the workouts, I want to talk about the t-shirts because every year is a new t-shirt.
Yeah.
So it looks like we got the Marlboro.
Yep.
Marlboro logo with freedom on it.
Yep.
What was the inspiration for this one?
Hold on a second.
Go for
I'm learning as I go. We got a cigarette logo with the freedom shirt. You know what I mean? Yeah, copyright. I learned my lesson.
Sorry.
It's all right. No, we're good.
Marlboro, Massachusetts.
Yeah, exactly. The real thing is like, I would put a vision of a celebrity I thought was influential.
Yes.
And I put freedom on it. And I wanted to lean into a shirt that I could always just have without a person on it. And it's a little bit morbid. Also, people get canceled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I had a vision in my head to have a Lizzo shirt 2 years ago.
Sure. Yeah.
So there's a point in time where you can't depend on the person.
Right.
My company's name is called Freedom Family Future, right? And it's actually my main thing is I think about that all the time. I think about, freedom in mental freedom, financial freedom, physical freedom. I think about that a lot. I obviously think about my family and I think about the future. So the thought process was, what are you addicted to? We all got vices, right? I got vices. One of my vices is freedom. The thought of it, so I put it on the shirt.
I like it. I like it. Very good. One last question that I had written down from earlier.
Yeah.
A song that at the very end of the competition from last year that you requested the DJ to play. Do you remember what it was?
I remember exactly what it was. Suavemente. Yeah. I love that song. I love that song because there's something about your brain that's very nostalgic. I had a neighbor. It's really just a simple dumb story. I had a neighbor that every time I knew he was wasted when he would start to play Suavemente. and Mac or DJ Gambito, right? We have a shared love for that song. And I told him that, and he was like, "That's your theme song." So somebody asked me what my walkout song would be. It'd be like Suavemente.
Yeah.
Right. So. Love that song.
That was the first time I heard that song, and you can ask my wife. I've played it quite a few times since that day.
It's a banger.
It is.
So, and I don't know where my neighbor. This is when I was 7 years old. I don't know where he's at the time, but it was. When he had a couple of adult sodas in him.
Yeah.
And it was always because my dad used to get mad. It was always around 11:30 at night. You'd hear it. And I was like,
oh, he's getting after it.
He's getting after it.
All right, let's get into the qualifiers. So we'll talk some CrossFit.
Sure.
And you've done a really good job of giving people their flowers. So I want to shout out Tracy Creates making the graphics.
He's killing it.
So shout out Tracy. But workout number 1, I did the qualifiers this year.
Yeah, I saw that.
I wanted to test them out. I wanted to feel them. So qualify workout, Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yep.
Which was a repeat workout from the competition.
Exactly.
Okay,
I love that format. It's actually one of my favorite workouts.
Yeah. A fun workout.
Yeah.
50 pull-ups, 50 cal echo bike, 50 dumbbell power snatches, 70 pounds, 50 pounds, or 50, 35, 5 and 5, 5 each side, 12-minute cap. I finished under 10. I finished in 9.
Let's go.
So is that going to continue to be a theme, like taking a workout from the competition and making it a qualifier workout?
No, that was just more of a case of like, it has to make sense to me.
Sure.
And that workout, it makes like linear sense. Like I think in lines. I can see it. You got to do the pull-ups. You got to do your snatches. Then you got to do your pull-ups, your bike, and your snatches. And I thought it was the best looking WOD on the comp floor.
Sure.
And I wanted people to experience it online.
Yeah. No, it was a fun one. I ended up using the assault bike, so my score is actually invalid. But we'll take it.
Nobody's listening.
All right, so one funny thing you had written on that, too, is a little Floyd Mayweather reference. I don't know if you remember in the caption, but it was do the workout, tag 50 Cent, his song, read 1 page of Harry Potter, and then if that's too much, read a little Cat in the Hat, which is a teaser to the next workout, which nobody would have known that unless they went back and looked at what you said there. So I caught that. So that was a nice little Easter egg you put in there.
Thank you. Yeah. You know, it's funny. I'm like, you gotta stop looking at my Instagram.
Yeah.
I gotta stop. Or I gotta start remembering. I put in. Yeah, it was an Easter egg. It's actually like So if I am not repeating what 50 Cent said about Floyd Mayweather on
no,
the
that's
podcast,
okay. That's okay.
But yeah, it was a good one.
I like it. One question that I got from some of the people. So it looked like I don't have the times in front of me, but people crushed these qualifier workouts.
Yeah.
They were going fast. A lot of really good times. And I think, like I had mentioned, or you talked to me, there's people that were like doing these qualifier workouts that were even like, I think a guy from like Australia did them, like across the country a little bit. They were getting some interest, which was really cool. I think that guy may have come in first. It was like the circus CrossFitter or something.
His last name's Clegg, and I apologize.
Yeah.
He's coming by. He's coming.
Oh, is he?
He's coming. Yeah.
Very cool. One feedback I got, and I want to get your opinion on that. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
As far as, I mean, obviously with the Open, you can either get judged on it for a score to be validated or put as a video submission. For the qualifier, obviously it's a little bit of just trust. Okay, this is my score. I put it in there. That's what I got. Would you down the road ever think about doing either make a judge or like a video submission for the qualifier? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Look, the goal is to make it we're close.
Yeah.
I don't know the competitors. Okay?
Sure.
So years I used to say 1 through 3, there was a chance I knew who the person was.
Yeah.
Okay? You want to create community, you want to create trust, right? It's your honor system. Because the floor, the thing I like about the gym is that the barbell, the floor doesn't lie, okay? So if I got this thing and it doesn't lie, I'm going to trust that your scores are valid because when you show up to play, you're like, we're going to find out. I'm getting to a place, and I'm not saying this, like, when I look at these, I don't know these people.
Sure.
And it is fascinating. I'm going to have to start doing some video process because there's some cash prizes for elite, and I understand. I know somebody's going to cheat something.
Yeah.
Okay? So people are like, I got to watch out for the cheaters. But they'll get exposed. But we are getting big, and it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Right now I want to stay with the trust system for I don't want to give a certain amount of time.
Sure.
But the process, the video process also for CrossFit WODs needs to be a little bit tighter.
Oh, yeah.
And we're seeing that through how many scores got thrown out for semifinals?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, people were pretty upset about that.
People were pretty upset. So, like, when I feel like and I think they're getting close, when I feel like there's a standard video process where it's not a pain to be like, to set up your camera over there, to have somebody judge you over here. I saw it here. The camera had to be set up. Then they got 10 pieces of equipment. They have to be 5 feet away from the thing. On an iPhone 7, it's a cluster.
Yeah.
But
bit of
I've
a
thought
barrier.
about it. whoever asked the question asked a great question, and I don't want to skirt on the answer. The truth is, I know a video has to happen. I just don't know when.
Totally. Yeah, totally. I like it. Good answer. All right, let's go on to the next qualifier. So, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yep.
Any reason why that book in particular?
I like the book,
Okay.
Atticus.
All right, cool.
It was like some of it's like, yeah, you didn't know that. I got you on that one. Like some. I said this last time. Sometimes it's like, I had an epiphany 2 days ago. Like I'm thinking and racking her brain, right? And then something comes to me. Sometimes I'm sitting on the porch, right? Look at the clock. It's 4:20, and I'm like, woo! To Kill a Mockingbird. Like it's just it comes to you different ways, and that was it.
That's a good answer. Yeah. I think last time when we did this, you had a similar answer about the name of a workout, and you're like, I think I was probably just like listening to some Drake at the time or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I got to ask you, Drake or Kendrick?
Oh,
you teased that on the story
yeah,
on the story the other day.
I teased it on the story to like just kind of neither. Like
okay.
I don't like. No, I'll preface the answer. I don't like rap beef.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I want you to sing. Let's just hip hop. The hip hop I grew up on is aspirational. When somebody's like, I got really big rings, but whatever. They don't have the big rings. They want to be millionaires.
Right.
And rap beef,
yeah.
But
yep.
But I love them both.
Cool. All right. Good answer. So this workout, To Kill a Mockingbird, 21-minute AMRAP, 7 rounds of 3 wall walks, 7 power snatch at 95-65, and the remaining time 1 rep max snatch.
Yeah.
Fun workout.
It's a fun workout.
Yeah, I got up to 175, which I was super happy about.
That's
Within
good
90%, I was happy
good
there.
Weight.
But yeah, good. Just crush the shoulders for a little bit and then see what you can do for a snatch.
Yeah, there's qualifiers is an interesting space where like any workouts you have to test your cardio, you got to test the strength, and you got to test some gymnastic skills. I did hear an interesting interview with Dave Castro, and I think about this in competitions that the one rep max strength test isn't the best test. But it was the only way I could think of in the qualifier to do it. But in all the comps I've ever run, I've never had a 1 rep max.
Really?
Yeah, 1 rep max lifts in competition. 1 rep max lifts in comp are good for social media for the 30-second snippet.
Sure.
In real life, it's a disaster.
Okay.
It's people running for change plates. I've seen it happen in multiple competitions where they run. It happened to me, and it's not a humble brag. I did it. It was November. I informed the judge. I said, I can deadlift a lot of weight, and I said it as meekly as I could. And the judge looked at me like, cool. Okay? And we were at 445. And I look at the guy, and I was like, you ran out of weight. And the guy was like, my bad, I didn't know. I was like, I told you. So I have seen that happen to multiple people. So you can't, testing it in a regular comp is tough.
You might run out of weight, literally.
You might run out of weight, or it's not running out of weight. It's also like, forget the running out of weight. Okay, so if you're well organized and you're trying to do the things, but bumpers, everybody in class is gonna laugh at me because I'm gonna say this. Bumpers are the same circumference and different weights, and they're not the same circumference because they're the same distance from the ground. So I could slap on a whole bunch of 45s and 35s and 55, and you have no idea what's on there.
Sure.
So now you're getting out of TI-83. The judge is stressed out. It's hot. They're like, how much is on there? I think it's 357. I think it's 358. Like, damn it.
Everyone needs a calculator.
Yeah. So it doesn't make it fluid.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Did you say you had an interview with Dave Castro?
I watched an interview.
Oh, okay.
Castro.
I was like, how did I miss that? No, all right.
I watched.
Not yet.
No.
Interview will come. Yeah. All right. Cool. So, the quote you left for that one, which I want to say too, is from the same thing from the book. Shoot all the Blue Jays you want if you can hit them, but remember it's a sin to kill a mockingbird.
Yeah, man. That's my favorite quote from that book.
Love it.
Love that book.
All right. Next workout, The Shining.
Yep.
AMRAP, 8 minutes. 24 wall ball, 12 toes to bar. 1 minute rest. AMRAP 8, 3 power cleans, 6 push-ups, 9 air squats, 1 minute rest, 8-minute AMRAP, 15 cal row, 15 burpee box jumps. Another good one, another smoker, cardio burner.
Yeah, and I think I know I repeat myself a lot, so
Yeah.
I apologize. The workouts are structured different ways, and people always talk about programming, and I think it's funny because like a lot of people ask or question programming, and I'm like, in my head sometimes, the arrogant part of me is like, you don't go to the guy that fixes your roof and be like, oh, what's going on with the shingles? Why, you leave the guy that does the roof alone, or the person. But the truth is like when I look at WODs, you test the will, then the skill first, or you test the skill, then the will. On that one, I wanted to test that's when you read the burpee box jumps in row. I know that's not any skill.
Yeah.
So I tested their skills in the first 16 minutes, and I want to see what you had left over in the last 8, because that's really the separator.
Yeah.
And then the minute rest, and I'm just telling you how I think for the record. I don't
Yeah.
want people thinking like, well, this guy thinks he's smart. No, I don't think so. I did the minute rest so you had time to count your reps.
Sure. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like you got 3 workouts in one. So if you have 3 workouts in one, in a class, it actually works out fine because it's like you do go. But the minute rest, you need to write down your reps.
Yeah.
Or it's just a disaster.
I like that. Cool. So you're not testing someone on how quickly they can write things down. Essentially, you don't want to test them on that.
Test it. And you got to make sure there's the. Probably said this already, and I'll say it, things have to make sense. And things have to make sense in the way that like there's a place where I don't know the athletes. I will say this about Castro. He doesn't know all the athletes either. So the workouts have to make sense for everybody to have a clear vision of what the workout is, what we're trying to accomplish, and what's going on.
I love it. It's great. You also had, I don't know if it was just for this workout or all of them, but you had a demo team, at least you wrote on this one, Derek, Sammy, Rachel, and then Instagram account, Morea.
Morea.
Yeah.
Morea. It's fun. We talk about demo teams.
Yeah.
I would touch on programming. People were like, how do you program the workouts? And I'm like, well, I kind of just text my friends. I work in the gym. Because it has to be, the workouts get tested on me first, right? And I'm like, okay, how does this feel? Like, how does this move? Okay, I know my general capacity. I'm like, okay, so what does that fall into? And then I tested out with friends of all different levels. I say all different levels. All those people are really fit. Rachel, Morea, Derek, like they're really, really fit humans. So it gives me a good gauge of what I want.
Yeah, I like that. So you almost have like your first filter is like, does it make sense on paper? Second, does it make sense to me? And third is, does it make sense to them?
Yeah. That, I've never thought about it that way. And in a way, what you call them a demo team, because how else can I thank them? Like, they're doing me a favor.
Totally. Cool. So that was it for the qualifiers.
Yep.
And you've released, correct me if I'm wrong, 2 workouts so far.
Those are two.
Okay, cool.
We're doing the work. I've always been a believer in when you go to a football game, it's football.
Yeah.
When you go to a basketball game, shoot a basketball. So when a CrossFit comp has a surprise workout, it doesn't make sense to me. And I'm not knocking. I think the state of CrossFit right now in terms of competition is better than it's ever been.
Sure.
I think that people are really thoughtful and mindful, and people are choosy about their comps, as they should be, because their bodies and the sport has grown. So when I look at it, I want to prepare the athlete as much as possible. So I just released the workouts like 2 months in advance.
So are the 2 workouts? That's it for the comp?
2 workouts and a final for top 5.
Gotcha.
And I want to put this on wax. I'm sorry, forget where I'm at. I want to put this out on record now. That it's going to be two workouts in a final. I know it's going to be final for elite. I know it's going to be a final for RX. I'm playing with the non-final for Masters, on the simple fact that we're going to run a Masters comp in October. And, yes, spoiler alert, we're going to run a Masters comp in October. Yeah. Sorry, Nikki. Nikki wanted this a big announcement. I'm really, really, really sorry.
Hey, I was going to bring it up at the end, but should we talk about it now?
It's scaling.
Okay.
Okay. I had a person help me or talk to me a lot about scaling the competition, okay? They say you should just run more competitions. I said, I'm not going to run more competitions. This makes no sense. But the Northeast semifinal is going on right now and it's in Nashville.
Yep.
I'm not knocking Nashville, and I'm not saying I'm a geography major, but I don't know if Nashville, Tennessee is in the Northeast. Okay? So
It's east, I think.
there's something.
Yeah.
So now I look at it, and people is bigger than me. It's people are training, and they have something to train for, and once they have the Open, and a lot of people, it's the Open, the season's over, and the quarterfinals, the season is over. I don't say I feel a responsibility, but when I know that I know how to do the thing, we know how to do the thing, and we have the venues and the resources to do it, I'm running individual comp. But what about masters and teams? Summer's already set. It's 21 days, less than, depending on when this release or what time it is right now, right?
It's live. It's going on right now.
Right now. So October 5th, 2024, we're going to run a competition called the Championship City Classic. It's going to be masters aged out the proper way, not just 40 plus, 35, 39, 40, 44, 45, 49, 50, 54, and people can DM me or email me if they want 54 or higher, okay? And teams of 4. That'll be the Championship City Classic, October 5th.
Love it. Championship City Classic.
That's exactly what the name is. Triple C's, 3 C's.
Love it. And we got a quick comment from the live stream. Taisha.
What up, Tay?
She says hello.
I sent her the link. Yeah, she said she was going to listen. Yep.
Cool. All right. I like it. That's exciting. That's exciting stuff coming down the road. So I guess we'll get to that when we get to it.
Yeah.
All right. So the 2 workouts I definitely want to break down a little bit.
Yeah.
So first one, workout 1, 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish.
Dr. Seuss.
All right. On a running 12-minute clock, we got time cap 4 minutes, 9, 15, 21 kettlebell goblet squats at 70, 53, chest to bar pull-ups, right into a 4-minute AMRAP, max calorie echo bike, right into 4-minute time cap, 50 hang kettlebell snatches, switching every 5 reps until all reps are complete. A little bit of everything there.
When you run 2 WODs, you need scores.
Sure.
I've made the mistake in the past of we don't have the capacity yet to have it would stress me out to have a 2-3 day comp, which people have asked for. If I'm going to keep a single day, I need to make sure the day is already going to be long. I'm prepping people to say it's a long day. We're going to say it's 7 to 6, but really it's going to be 6 a.m. to 6. And if I can cut some time off, it's fine. But it's a long day already, okay? How do I pack in a long day but still make sure people have 2 WODs and their bodies aren't beat up for 3 weeks? So you have to put 3 mini WODs together. So those are 3 really 4-minute AMRAPs that test 3 different systems. The squat pull-up one is more of a Fran style. The bike is the only really monostructural piece I can hit. It's either bike or row because I'm not going to do a run yet because I don't have the loop. So you just say 4 minutes on the bike, see what you can handle. And then the kettlebell snatch is something that if you are a skilled athlete, you should be able to do a kettlebell snatch because dumbbell snatches, not to say it's not as skillful, dumbbell snatches are just a big power output. And I wanted people to be mindful and have some kind of skill.
Totally.
So that's where the head was on that.
I like it. I'm definitely excited to see how people. I mean, me personally, I never know really how a workout looks until I actually feel it.
Yeah.
Or see it.
No, I know what you mean.
And I'm excited to see how those kettlebell snatches look after people smoke themselves on the bike.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see how people compete under pressure.
Sure.
There's a lot of people I know I mentioned there's people I do know.
Yeah.
There's people I don't know, so I'm just excited to see them because it's really the only time I get to step outside my affiliate as well. So I'm oh, nice to meet you. Let's see what you got.
Totally. And I like the goblet squats. That's not a movement you see very often programmed for a competition.
No, I saw it one time 18 months ago at a Masters competition, and I liked it. And the kettlebell transfer makes sense because after you do the goblet squat, you're going to use the kettlebell for the snatches. Less space, less clutter, more lanes.
Sure, yeah. And that's a movement, too, where I feel like the judges are going to have to be like, hey, make sure your depth, make sure you're low.
Yeah, that's why you talk about judges, and shout out to Nate for being the head judge this year. Nate, I don't know where you're at, but if you're listening, but you're the head judge. The standard should be if I'm 12 years old and I'm just watching CrossFit, I can be able to see the standard. Kettlebell's going to be here, squat below parallel, stand up. Should be simple.
Yeah.
So the standards will be upheld.
I like that. The quote you wrote for this one: "Hungry dogs run faster."
Yes.
That's a great quote.
It's a great quote.
So kind of encompassing like, hey, this is what you got to do. If you want it, you got to go for it on this one. Love it. Workout number 2, we've got The Rainmaker, a novel by John Grisham. Grisham. Are you a John Grisham fan?
This was my favorite novel he has.
Okay.
By a landslide.
Nice. This is a 7-minute AMRAP, 9 deadlifts at 315, 205. Some good weight. Good weight there. 27 crossover singles. So the crossover is here to stay. It's sticking around. Wasn't a fad.
No. Crossovers is fun. Crossovers I do like and it's easier to count.
Yeah. True. And then 30-foot handstand walk in 5-foot increments. So always a crowd favorite to watch that one too.
It's a crowd favorite, and it's just so everybody's, depending on who's listening, RX is only doing wall climbs. They're not doing handstand walks for safety reasons, which is all good.
I didn't
Please
open up the scale. The RX versions, yes.
You're good.
And then a 1-minute rest, and then 40 burpee box facing jump overs with step down. With the 4-minute time cap there.
Right.
Yeah, another get some skill in there, and then let's see how bad you want it.
Love that. I love that you see that already. The theme is always skill and then will. I love that you see that like throughout. And
there's some good weight to be lifted there.
It's good weight to be lifted. We can deadlift it. We make sure we're in a good space. It's so funny. I'm like, it's easy to be like, this squat's great. This squat's great. And then I go on the floor. I'm like, oh man. And it doesn't. I don't want to say it doesn't matter about the programming. It's a CrossFit competition. There's only 15 movements in CrossFit, so I'm going to throw out CrossFit movements. I want to see the athletes interact. I want to see the athletes interact on the floor. I want to see the athletes interact with each other. Where I get my I'm like, is when I see the athletes, just how they interact throughout the whole thing, because it's cool. You really see the real person. Well, the things I do remember is like the small things that you say to each other when you're walking by. Like when Jeff Dornalis, who I've never met before last year, was working out, and he just comes up to me and he's like, hey, man, really, I'm having a good time. Oh, awesome. Like the small little things. Anastasia Lowe in 2021, I don't want to share what she said to me, but she said something to me so awesome that it sticks with me.
That's cool.
So,
That's cool.
It's cool.
I like that. And yeah, you had mentioned like, hey, we're testing out, grip, deadlift strength, skill with crossover, shoulder stamina. So be a good, like you said, all-encompassing, good test there.
Plus the consumer, we can go CrossFit, we can go fitness, we can go competition. The human consumer is more knowledgeable, okay? So when you, even in class, if you just say to a person, why are we doing this deadlift this way? The answer can't be just because I said so.
Right.
If a person can't answer you in a clear, concise reason why we're doing it, then, you know.
Yeah, then what's the purpose?
What's the purpose?
Yeah. Awesome. So those are 2 workouts, obviously with the differences with the RX and Masters version of those. I want to talk a little bit, just as we're starting to wrap up here. We'll keep it on an hour.
I think we actually technically have to keep it on an hour.
All right, cool.
You're killing it, man. We're killing it. All you guys are killing it as well. Everybody out there is killing it.
So the last piece I want to touch upon is just kind of shouting out some of the athletes.
Yeah, of course.
So as usual, I went threw out some emails trying to get some feedback from some of the athletes, and a lot of repeats, and I think that speaks volumes to the competition. Yeah. People want to do it. People want to keep coming back. But one that stuck out a lot, similar to Derek, is Ray Sabat.
Yeah.
2 years in a row, fittest man in Lebanon.
It's another person. When you're the fittest person, Lebanon's a country. So when people look and they put on their resume, I always think it's funny when people are like, I think I'm pretty fit. I'm like, all right, cool. He has the stamp of fittest person in the country, so I'm excited to see him compete.
And a semifinals athlete, and I was looking to. I think he played. I don't know rugby too well, but I think pretty high level rugby. So multi-sport athlete.
Multi-sport athlete, really nice guy.
Christine Middleton, right now competing at semifinals through Ocean State CrossFit, Ocean State Surge.
she's one of those people that I didn't realize how big of a star she was till we put her on Instagram. And, like, she's famous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's fun. And it's been a joy to interact with. We're rooting for her. We hope she makes the games.
Yeah.
Her and the team make the games.
Yeah.
I want nothing but success for her.
She's 3 times games athletes, looking pretty good to be 4.
Yeah.
I mean, nope, knock on wood. No, I don't want to jinx her, but
No.
they're doing well.
They're doing well.
They're doing well.
I don't want to speak for Christine.
Yes.
That'd be rude of me.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling Christine wants to do the comp, whether she qualifies or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it's cool.
Yeah. Another one, Lindsay Cruffy. I mentioned some of these names because of people I know personally. So bias over at Ocean State. She was Sam Pascal's teammate, I believe. I hope I didn't get that wrong. But for their team also at Ocean State this year.
It's another person that qualifies as being famous. When you have 205,000, something over 100K in followers. I'm like, oh,
you're famous. Yeah,
you're famous.
Also a semifinals athlete, Logan June.
Logan June is great.
Yeah,
I know his mom, his dad. He's a former teen games athlete.
Yeah.
He's 19 years old. He's doing the comp. I'm so excited for him and his family.
Yeah, that's awesome. Trains over at CrossFit New England and then Gamut during the school year. In school right now. I'm not exactly sure, but must be somewhere near
college freshman.
Narragansett. So maybe you are I'm not sure. Tia also, I think she's also in college. Repeat from last year. Maybe the year before that too. Was it 2 years?
Yeah, she's
Possibly,
2 years. Yep, she's 2 years.
Tia Guay, G-U-A-Y. Sarah Marie Sullivan, couple times repeat.
Fourth year in a row.
Yeah, is it 4?
4th year in a row.
Awesome. Over at CrossFit New England, and she's coaching over there, which is really cool. Just a badass person.
Badass person that likes to grind, person that is very, very inquisitive about workouts in a good way, and is another person, and it's probably the theme of the day, and when we get there, another person that cares about the comp in a way that, like, I almost couldn't comprehend.
Sure. Josh Beaker, another repeat, second place in 2022. So he'll be fun to watch again.
He's a good dude.
Sean, you might not know this. Sean, Hoey. He chips Ahoy. Sean Hoy.
No, I know Sean Hoy.
Hoy. Okay.
Hoy.
All right.
I know who. Sean is when they go on his Instagram. I want to say this the right way, but it's Sean. Hey, Sean. I'm going by Instagram. Sean was about 330.
Yeah.
Lost a whole bunch of weight, and Sean is also one of those people that like to. When I put him on Instagram, the love he got tells me a lot about him. I've met him, super nice guy, quiet, at least in my presence, but the amount of comments like, you can go, Sean, let's do it, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, 100 pounds. I lost 100 pounds.
Lost 100 pounds.
Incredible. Austin Amory, another repeat. Oh, he's over at CrossFit Southie.
Good dude, stud.
Dave Courtney, another repeat from CrossFit Boston.
He loves the comp. He loves fitness. He loves to send Instagram DMs and all positive. Like, he's one of those people that you post a flower on Instagram. He's like, let's go flower. And I'm like, all right, Dave.
Sydney Pollock, another crowd starter from last year. She was over at CrossFit 401 now.
She's one of the most talented people I've ever seen on the comp floor.
Yeah. And I think relatively new-ish to the sport, too, so it continues to get better.
Competitive gymnastics was 3rd place, and the thing I remember most about Sydney Pollock was her father was such a proud dad. He was everything. He wore New Balances. He wore jean shorts. He had the spiky hair, and he would record the whole – like, I just never – he was the epitome of proud dad.
I love that. We also got Ben Bates, and I mentioned this name because Jenna. I'm not sure if I saw her name as Jenna Kilvin from last year. She was the one who was coming out of high school, I believe, play football. She chirped him a little bit, or she might have chirped you a little bit.
She chirps. Jenna, so I can go with both of them. Jenna.
Yeah.
You know, I talked about talking shit being a love language, right?
Yes.
And Jenna understands that in the best way possible, and Jenna is. I give Jenna so much credit to be. She was a high school football guard. If you know anything about football, she was a guard. So she like contact. Right. She showed up to the comp as basically just graduated high school, and she had like a crowd of people behind her. It's not, to me, I keep talking about people behind you. I don't look at the person. I look at who associates themselves with you.
Yeah.
And she, not only did she have a lot of people when she came to the gym, she's at 18 years old. She's a coach at Invictus Boston, and she is beloved, and she is super cool, and she talks trash in a good way. And that leads to Ben, because I would say Ben is probably one of her closer friends here. And Ben Bates is one of those guys, you know, they call him like, sorry, Ben, if you don't know this, they call him like a golden retriever because he's so nice. You know, Ben is so nice, and he's such a joy to work with. And he was actually, to see Ben compete is funny because he was the second in command judge-wise last year. So it's going to be cool.
I think that the chirp was, hey, why, out of all the pictures, why'd you choose that one?
Because he looked good in that picture.
Because he looked good. All right. There's the answer.
There's the answer.
Jenna, also, one last thing on her. When I was clicking on it, her Instagram profile is her only thing in the, you know, where the description where the profile is, you know what I'm about to say?
Yeah, Bern K. Prince said I'm an elite athlete.
Yeah, probably that. I love that. And there's a ton of athletes, but one more that stuck out to me was Lars Laursen. You know the name?
Yeah, I know Lars. He on his Instagram there's a lot of ski stuff.
Yeah,
represents CrossFit Boston.
Yeah.
Another person I never met in person. Has been a fan of the comp through social media, and now is showing up. So I'm excited to meet him.
Yeah, that's so cool. All right, and then one of the last just couple people I wanted to shout out, and you already mentioned some of them already, but head judge Nate Johnson. Yeah. Nikki and Constance also helping out.
Nikki and Constance are really so, you know, you talk to a lot of people. I'm very much an idea person. Even when you look at me talk, there's a lot of, like, you know, numbers. You can see it, Russell Crowe. Nikki and Constance are two people that go to the gym constantly. And, like, I coach every day. And, you know, I always say I'm doing my job. There's a relationship of coach and athlete. But you get to know the person, whatever the barriers are, right? And I know that they care. They care about the comp. They care about me. They're organized. And in a way, I feel comfortable with them, and I think they can feel comfortable with me, to where it's like, not only like, you're doing a great job. Miss me with that. They'll be like, yo, you're not doing a job here, and you need to settle it down. Because those are the people you care about. Do you have anything more? Because I know we're going to close soon, but there's something I do want to say.
Yes. Yep.
You know, like, you know, and long-winded Bern Prince tangent coming in. I promise you I'll land the plane.
Go for it.
You know, there's a lot of people, I see this all the time. They're always like, you know, the haters motivate me. My haters, because whatever, Jim Dog 88 Sully on Instagram said, you know, didn't like their post. And I think they had a whole bunch of haters. They don't. You know, I go from a space of positivity. Right? I feel very lucky in my life where, like, I need to prove the people that believe in me right. Okay? You know, forget all the CrossFit stuff. My sister, you know, and my family have always believed in me and said, you can do better. You know, so I got to prove them right. You know, my friends, you know, I got Rock, I got Robinson, I got Mac. You know, if I slip, they're like, yo, you can do better. I got to prove them right. You know, Josh, when he hired me in 2012, took a chance on me, prove him right. The whole thing to me is I'm not one to be like, oh, this person's hating on me. I'm one to, like, I got to show my peers and the people that I care about that I'm doing the right thing. Totally. So that's, to me, that's the motivation, to prove everyone right.
Love it. I love it. Let's land the plane with that.
Yeah.
Let's land the plane.
Yeah, I want. Yeah, it was. I mean, there's so. Yeah, we can land the plane with that. And I feel like I want to shout people out by name, but
totally.
Like there's
too many.
There's a lot of people, and I hope they when they're like, what's the big deal about the Invitational? And like, I don't think it's a big deal. It's the only opportunity. I'll say this to the athletes too, and I know we'll land the plane on that. I want the athletes when we go, and this is big. We're the only competition I know that has 2 sneaker companies sponsoring.
Yeah.
The athletes are getting Reeboks. The volunteers are getting Rad Globals. And shout out to both those companies. I do want to say that for being open enough to give me 194 pairs of shoes, because that's what's coming. And so when an athlete comes to me, or the company comes to me and I say, I got the best athletes, and they're like, well, do you have this person? I'm like, no, I got this person. So on June 22nd, and I'm talking directly now to the athletes, the volunteers, and everybody that's going to be involved. I want June 22nd is going to be a long day, right? All the Instagram clips where everybody's pumping up and down, there's going to be some tough times. But I want all of them to prove me right, because I believe in them so much. and we land the plan on that.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for showing up.
All
Thank
right.
you, everybody. Really appreciate it.
We'll see you June 22nd.
See you June 22nd.
All right. Rhody Strength signing off.
Awesome.
Good stuff, man.
Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you very much. Oh, I am loud. I'm loud.
Thank you. Thank you. And hey, the stream works. Let's go.